From the St. Louis Public Radio newsroom, this is The Gateway. It's Monday, August 19th, 2019. I'm Ryan Delaney, sitting in for Wayne Pratt. Ahead, Fairmount Park Racetrack has held horse races for nearly 100 years, but the number of races at the Collinsville track has been in decline.
We went from racing 5 days a week, 10 races a day, to 2 days a week, usually 7 races a day.
That story coming up in a few minutes. First, a roundup of this morning's news. Democratic presidential candidate Kirsten Gillibrand is promising to fight a Missouri law that bans most abortions at 8 weeks of pregnancy. As St. Louis Public Radio's Kay Petrin reports, the New York senator wants to create federal protections that could overrule state abortion laws.
Senator Gillibrand says that women's rights are under attack. She held a town hall in St. Louis Sunday to discuss a Missouri law going into effect this month. Under the law, anyone who performs an abortion after the 8-week mark could face felony charges. Gillibrand says if she's elected, she will prevent states from passing similar laws.
We need to make sure that we pass access to health care on the federal level, because without it, you are left to the whims of your legislature.
Defenders of the ban argue it doesn't infringe on women's rights because it allows some time for women to make medical decisions. The American Civil Liberties Union has sued the state of Missouri over the law, arguing that it's unconstitutional. I'm Kay Petrin, St. Louis Public Radio.
Missouri Democrats believe they can bounce back after 3 dismal election cycles in a row. That was the key takeaway from the Missouri Democratic Party's Truman Dinner, which was held in St. Louis Saturday. It featured State Auditor Nicole Galloway making her first major speech since announcing her 2020 gubernatorial bid. Galloway says she can help lead the Democrats back to power after the GOP won most of Missouri's statewide offices.
I hear from people all the time that they feel like the system is rigged against them, and that there are many needs that they have in their families and in their lives, and government is not addressing those or doing nothing to address that.
Governor Mike Parson is expected to announce his bid for a full 4-year term in the coming weeks. Small businesses around the region are being targeted by a recurring scam that coincides with the start of high school football season. An out-of-town printing company claims to be creating items like calendars and posters that promote the local team and ask businesses to buy an ad on them. But the items are either never printed or distributed, and the money doesn't benefit the team. Stevie Kersey is the executive director of the Rolla Area Chamber of Commerce. She says the scam tries to take advantage of small-town pride.
That's the great thing about the Rolla community is the businesses always back our kids, and they're always wanting to support every project that they happen to have going on. And these companies know that, and that's why they use the schools.
Kiersey says local chambers of commerce and the Better Business Bureau are the places to check on a company. Fairmount Park Racetrack has held horse races since 1925 in Collinsville, but in recent years, the track has cut back to just 41 annual racing days, down from 150 at its height. Illinois lawmakers approved a gambling expansion last spring that may change the track's fortunes. St. Louis Public Radio's Eric Schmid visited Fairmount recently to find out how fast the track expects to round the corner after years of struggle.
It's a race day at Fairmount, and the stands are packed by hundreds for Horse Hooky Tuesday. Families with children and older patrons enjoy the balmy weather, broken only by a slight breeze. They're all here to see one thing: the horses race. But the track is practically deserted on any day when there's not live horse racing. Competition from other casinos in the St. Louis region and video gaming terminals in Illinois slowly chipped away at the track's attendance and prize money, leaving just 41 days with live races this year. Jim Watkins owns horses that race at Fairmount and says empty stands have become the new normal.
We went from racing 5 days a week, 10 races a day, to 2 days a week, usually 7 races a day.
Watkins is also a member of the Illinois Horsemen's Benevolent and Protection Association Board of Directors. The association represents horse owners and trainers in the state of Illinois and lobbied lawmakers for years to allow more types of gambling at the track. They got their wish this year when Governor J.B. Pritzker signed the massive gaming expansion into law in June. Racetracks can now apply for a license to host table games like blackjack and roulette, slots, video gambling, and sports betting for the first time ever. Brian Zander, president and general manager of Fairmount, says it puts the track on an even playing field.
We were constantly and have been constantly on the defensive, and now I think we have an opportunity to go on the offensive.
He says additional racing days and expanded gambling will ensure larger payouts for those who race their horses at the track. The statute requires racetracks dedicate about 13% of their gross revenue from gambling to racing purses. Zander says he anticipates the expansion will nearly double the prize money for race winners, which means Fairmount can attract and host more competitive races. But Tom Swoik of the Illinois Casino Gaming Association is skeptical the gambling expansion will actually deliver on its promises. His organization represents many casinos around the state and says the Metro East will be oversaturated with gambling opportunities.
There's going to be so many new venues that basically you're not creating a whole lot of new gamblers or any new gamblers. You're just moving the money around from 10 casinos to 21.
But Zander argues live racing coupled with casino gaming and sports betting will make Fairmount a unique destination. Any changes to the track are still far off. Zander says Fairmount has to apply for its gaming licenses and wait for the Illinois Gaming Board to establish new rules.
This stuff doesn't happen overnight. I'm pointing towards 2021 is when we can actually go full-blown.
The track will eventually eclipse 100 annual racing days. The new law requires it for Fairmount to retain its gaming license. That's good news for regular patrons of the track like Bob Bell. He says he has visited Fairmount for more than 20 years.
Whatever it takes to keep the racetrack open, that's what I'm for. This is a good place to be. I have a lot of fun every time I come.
The odds look better for Fairmount than they have in a long time. But the real test for the track comes over the next few years when the wager on gambling expansion plays out. In Belleville, I'm Eric Schmid, St. Louis Public Radio.
That story was edited by Maria Altman. Our executive editor is Shula Newman. Keep up with the news throughout the day at stlpublicradio.org or follow the newsroom on Twitter at stlpublicradio. Music is by Ryan McNeely of Adult Fur. I'm Ryan Delaney, and from the St. Louis Public Radio newsroom, this has been The Gateway. Have a great week.
Support comes from Mosby Building Arts, a design-build company committed to remodeling the right way. Visit callmosby.com to get project inspiration for any room of your house.